Now, if you recall, I ran into Shannon Sharpe at the NAACP Awards. I stopped him. I said, Shannon, I got 10,000 girls I could hook you up with. If you don't remember, take a look. I already know I got what you looking for. I got like 10,000 girls. He walked away. 7 seconds could have changed his whole life. All he gave me was 7 seconds. Shannon, you should have sat your ass there and listened to me. Look at all these beautiful girls. Look at all these beautiful girls on the Kendra G singles dating app. You had access to in their 30s. I know you want them young, so I went to 30s. You can search by age, location, education, kids, all that on the Kendra G singles dating app. I know you got a type. This is your type. I know you got a type. They are on the Kendra G singles dating app, but you walked away from me. Now you got to walk away from ESPN too. Next time you better listen when a black woman's trying to tell you something.
Kendra G is an animal for making an advertisement
on
a situation like this.
On a sexual assault allegation.
Crazy. That is crazy work.
You see how insensitive they are, bro?
That is crazy.
Bro, let's say for the sake of argument that he did do it. Right? Imagine how the victim would feel, her coming out talking about I got other women that you could have picked from. Like, come on now, timing.
Yeah, that's wicked. So there's a couple things. There's a lot of layers to this, right? So I understand people with the age disparity thing. I get it. But it's all opinion. People pick arbitrary numbers about the age thing and say, oh, this person doesn't know this. France somehow, who we love and respect, right, somehow believes that 15 is a good age, right? That's their age of consent. So there, a lot of different worlds observe different age limits, and some are crazier than that. There are some countries with no age limit. You see some really weird things to us going on, right? Now, I wouldn't encourage that for, my people. That's just not something that I'm into. But who are we to judge the threshold, right? We're saying that, but nobody gives the same type of pressure to like Dennis Hoff, the owner of the Bunny Ranch, Leonardo DiCaprio, Hugh Hefner, all these dudes who was really doing it. They were glorified for doing what it was that they were doing. And they were pretty much exploiting women on top of it. But they weren't getting that same type of pressure that a lot of us get, which is kind of weird to me, first of all. And I'm here to tell you that a lot of these women I know and have interviewed and have been around plenty of ex-workers, right? And I'm just going to tell you that I would bet my house that she was the one doing manipulating. He was a lick. I don't know if you understand that. Shannon Sharpe, anybody who do this shit for real could tell Shannon Sharpe ain't got no game, and he is not going to get no women unless he pay to play. He was the lick. I don't care what any of y'all try to say. He was the one being manipulated. Hey, Trev, what he's into is king. I ain't done. Hold on. What you say?
I said that last night on Last Night broadcast.
Oh, you're right. Okay, cool. I thought you was about to cut me all the way off. Okay, cool. No, I got you. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there are some of them who are like who I've met in their 20s, and they said, man, they've been doing this since they was 15 years old. They know how to spot those dudes out, source them, and run it up. And I would venture to say that he's likely not her only client. She's an OnlyFans person, and she gets propositioned every single time she go on. People proposition her, and they don't usually just have one client. What he's into is kink. Things like that. When you're talking about rope play and bondage and all of that right there, he was playing. He ain't got the game to really be a master. He can't really get a sub like that. That's just not what it is. He can't have what she would be referred to as a slave, where they pretty much don't do anything unless you tell them to. Some of them, the real ones, don't know what to do. Right. But they were role playing. That's cosplay. He's acting like a master. She's acting like a slave. That's his fantasy. That's his kink. These women charge tens of thousands for that type of work. That's why he was tricking so hard and being as though he can't do that for any woman for real, particularly in his age category. It just doesn't go like that, right? And let's keep it G. Women in their 50s and 40s and his age are not very marketable. It's universally, there's a universal attracting us as men. When the Instagram joints are on there, any one of us could say what we say, but when it comes to reality, we're looking at women in their early 20s and stuff like that. That's just what it is. We're not flipping through looking for 40-year-olds and 30-year-olds. That's just not realistic, right? That's not what women, that's not desirable women. So we can't really be fooled by that. But you can just tell the way she was setting it up. She was recording Homeboy the whole time. Like, come on. What was the purpose of her recording that? Why would you record someone else? Why would you record someone else unless you were planning to use that later? And I made a video. I went over the timeline. The first time she said she was violated was October the 24th, if I believe. If there's an October 24th and you've violated her, right? She described it as grape, right? In October. Why is there a January? You think we could talk about anything in January if you graped her on October 24th? What are we doing? What are we even talking about? She cap. I don't care what y'all say. She cap. Like, she's playing the game. She know how to play the game. And it's not about him being a victim, because shame on him for not having his game up, right? For doing it that way. There are better ways to do it. There are reputable places to do that play where these women have guarantees, no pregnancy guarantees, no STD guarantees, none of that drama guarantees. That's what he got money, but he don't know how to move like he wealthy. And that's the problem. His biggest issue in life is the lack of him having any game. That's what killed him. But on the same hand, if we run into a woman who doesn't have any game and get scammed by a dude, we all over him. Pause. I'll leave it there.
I think you need to explain that, though, a little bit more. Like, what kind of game could Shannon Sharpe have to make a difference? Because
talk to wealthy people who also like to have play-to-play situations is one. If you have no game, you can consult with your people. They'll refer you to a service or refer you to a particular woman who's into all that nonsense, that what he's into. And that's kind of light work. It gets way deeper than that. There's people getting away with worse stuff than that, right?
You're talking about network then.
Yes, you have to network. Yeah, you should. You don't just go grab the first.
When I heard you say game, I thought you were talking like some type.
But that's that too. It also the type of game, because he can't really make women that have those type of bodies and that type of youth really do that for him, because he ain't got the mouthpiece for that. You know what I'm saying? He might have the status. He might have the money.
Really, can we honestly say we've heard him make an attempt to spit game at a woman to be able to confirm that? Because it sounds like you're very, very pedal to metal that this guy does not know how to talk to women.
You could tell, bro. Marcus, what you think?
I 100% agree. It's in his.
If you do this, you know. That's what I'm saying. If you do this, you know. You know. If somebody fraud, if somebody whatever you might have in your expertise. So let's say somebody say they're a soldier. You're gonna know. It's not gonna take you long, just by the way they talk. This dude talks for hours and hours and hours. We literally have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of hours of listening to this dude have takes on dating and all that shit. We know what he thinks. He's said what he thinks, and that shit don't work. And we know this. The people who do this shit for real know that shit don't work. That's what we saying. He falls flagging.
What's so hard about learning how to pay to play? I don't think that's a very difficult thing to learn.
Yes, well, obviously it is. Or he wouldn't be in this situation.
No, it's not. You supposed to pay them. They give you your service and you keep it pushing. What she's doing ain't got shit to do with it being difficult to pay to play.
It's difficult for men like him who continuously go back to the same woman and develop a relationship. It's no reason if this man was paying women. First of all, I don't believe in paying women for sex. But it's no reason that this man should have been paying this woman for sex and then consistently going back to get a boyfriend BDSM experience that she didn't specialize in that specific genre of sex work. It's crazy. That man tweaking. He essentially tried to get an OnlyFans girl, turn her into a girlfriend so he could do BDSM while being with her for 3 years, pretending like they kind of together, but not together. and then expecting a white girl to just walk away. That nigga set himself up from the gate. So to everything Trev said, I agree with. Everything is, and I know Trev don't agree with pay to play. So he was just speaking in general about men that are gonna pay to play, how they should have went about that shit. And part of him being game goofy is the fact that he thought that all that was cool. This man is on the phone having conversations about his feelings with a sex worker. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, he 50-something years old though. Like he probably having a midlife crisis. He want to feel alive again, so he doing shit, tampering with shit. Like he got money. He 50-something years old with a lot of money. Like
look. You know if he like Trev said, if that's what he was into, that was his kink, he could have found it's BDSM houses and shit that you could go specifically for that, and then they pay to get the services, or you enact your service and you leave. This man tried to turn listen to what I'm saying. He tried to turn a girlfriend, an OnlyFans girl into a girlfriend to make her a BDSM partner.
So he failed at turning her
while paying her, and then discussing his feelings and getting attached. You can't really be more game goofy than that.
Did he fail at turning her into a girlfriend?
I want to have one of the ladies answer that question.
Suing him.
No, I'm saying, like, was it on the record that this was? I never heard of her until this allegation. I never.
No. When I say a girlfriend, I'm not talking like how people be like, "Oh, this is my woman on Instagram." I'm saying he was operating as if he was in a relationship with a sex worker. He was discussing his emotions and building an emotional connection and attachment with a sex worker. He was operating in ways that for a normal woman would make her believe that you're in an actual relationship and you have an attachment. And he was having feelings. His
communication level was on a level of where he would talk to somebody he was serious or committed with. Is that what you're saying?
To some extent, and that come with when we was talking about things you learn when you're younger. That
still doesn't speak to. It doesn't speak to the part where I was kind of disconnected with Trev on, as far as reeling a woman in or tricking her out of her. I mean, not tricking her out of her, but finessing her out of her draws. So what I'm saying is,
out of draws.
We never seen that in play to be able to confirm. So extreme that he doesn't have any sway in his words to be able to convince a woman that, hey, you should date me or could take interest in me.